Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to a new edition of our show titled Speak of Africa. Brothers and sisters, it's a new week and we're presenting a new show to you. We must start the show of today by thanking you for appreciating us. You miss us a lot and we also miss you too. So we're really happy with what is happening now, and we promise you that we're going to continue bringing you good videos, good information that fills your need. So how is Africa this week? Well, it was really a tough week. And before we begin, there's so much trouble in the world. Even though our focus is Africa, we have many friends in the world. Our heart really bleeds for the Palestinians and the Israelis. Okay, so much is happening, so much violence. We don't condone violence in Africa, but we don't also condone violence in any other part of the world. There was a whole lot of deaths in the latest eruption of conflict in the Persian Gulf involving the Palestinians and the Israeli folks. These are really brothers. What are we really fighting for? We just need to remember the message of love. But as you can see, a whole lot of people have lost their lives. In fact, on both sides. We don't really want to say we want to take sides, but we just are humans. Because of humanity, we like to pray and ask God to take care of the souls of the departed in this conflict. So what are we really going to talk about Africa today? In fact, there's a whole lot going on, but the focus has to be the issue of African freedom. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Why freedom? Because Africa cannot really develop without freedom. Africa cannot develop without stability. Last week, we spoke about insecurity, and the insecurity continues. But interestingly, we're going to take you first to Nigeria. Some of you are saying we love Nigeria too much, but yes, we do. We love Nigeria a whole lot, and we love talking about Nigeria because we think if Nigeria goes well, the rest of Africa goes well, because Nigeria is a regional superpower in Africa. So we focus attention on Nigeria because we think that if things go well in Nigeria, the rest of Africa is going to follow. This week, we got information that President Muhammadu Buhari is going to Paris, France, for an African Finance Summit. Why? Nigeria is not a French colony. It never was. It never should be. But we are realizing that Buhari is pulling Nigeria into the orbit of the Francophrique, which should be a zone for former colonies of France. It's true, France has a lot of business interests in Nigeria. But why is Buhari spending so much time making friends with Emmanuel Macron of France? What is he trying to gain? Well, from the way we look at it, he thinks Emmanuel Macron can really help him with the rising security issue in Nigeria. We said last week that Nigeria's problems are for Nigerians. Nigerians should learn how to solve their own problems. It is naive to think that foreigners will come and solve Nigeria's problems. We believe in self-reliance. Don't think that France will solve Nigeria's problem. When France comes to Nigeria, France only wants to take the oil Nigeria has. That's what they're interested in. So don't think France can make Nigeria secure. That's a lie. France cannot secure Nigeria. France is passing out messages giving the impression that African countries should come because of the pandemic. The pandemic had a very devastating effect on most African economies. It's true. But we need to have our own shock absorbers. We have to absorb the shock of the pandemic. We don't have to rely on France, because if we rely on France, it's like we're making friends with Shylock the Jew, who needs to take a pound of flesh. If you've read Shakespeare, The Merchant of Venice, that's a play I read many times when I used to be in the university. The Merchant of Venice, it tells the story of borrowing. Why it's not good to just borrow without thinking about your client, a creditor. most creditors will ask for a pound of flesh. And that's what we think Emmanuel Macron will do to Nigeria. If Buhari thinks he can go to France, ask for Nigeria's debt to be forgiven or to write off most of the indebtedness or to be given a lifeline, that's not really going to happen. Whatever he gets from France, he's going to pay 10 times. Nigerians are going to pay heavily for whatever he gets. Okay? So it's not really smart to be going to France. So when I look at this African summit, they call it an African Finance Summit. Why is it not taking place in Africa? It's because Africans are not calling the shots. If Africans were calling the shots, an African Finance Summit will be taking place on African ground. But it's taking place in France because Emmanuel Macron is presenting himself as a big-time benefactor of Africa, a big brother, a big daddy. Kids like Buhari will go to him, he will give them candy, and then they go back home. That's the way Emmanuel Macron perceives himself. He perceives himself to be a big shot. By contrast, Buhari comes across as a beggar. He brings out a pan, like a plate, to beg for money from France. When you know that France is really depending on African economies. So when we look at this, we really feel sad for our Africans. Buhari is leaving a country that is in trouble. The governors held a meeting in Asaba. They are trying to look for a way to resolve the security crisis that is rising. This week, over 104 people were killed and 44 more were kidnapped in Nigeria. Where is Buhari? He says, I'm doing my best to handle the security situation. But most of the people think he's not really doing his best. At worst, you can see that even folks in the north who are his supporters think Mr. Buhari is doing a bad job, and they are asking Mr. Buhari to resign from the presidency of Nigeria. Whether this happens or not is putting a lot of pressure on Mr. Buhari. And even his supporters can see this because they are really seeing that he's not really doing well. Then another story also broke this week, and it's about Kimba Kumo, the son-in-law of Mr. Buhari. Mr. Buhari has a daughter called Fatima, who was married to this Kimba Kumo guy. The guy stole over $65 million. He was the manager of a bank, and he stole all this money. So now investigators are behind him, and they want to recover the loot. Okay? So this is also making Mr. Buhari look bad, because he himself fired his son-in-law just recently. I think that should have been probably like 2016 when he fired this Kimba Kumo guy who was married to his daughter Fatima. So for a man who claims to be Mr. Clean, Mr. Anti-Corruption, this comes across as something terrible. It really makes him look bad. You see, even though he's not the one who has really committed the crime, but it really makes him look terrible. So when you look at it, you're like, oh, no, this is not good. So already, Mr. Buhari's handlers were already trying to distance himself from the corruption of this Kimba Kumu guy. So you can just see that they're just trying to play games.
Hey, yo, Shape, I thought you was going to take me to this place so I could get my taxes done. You know I'm trying to buy a new house. What's up?
Let's get it on. If you're searching for a house, call up my man Prince Ojong, the best in real estate. Take it from your guy Shape. When I say his services are the best in the states where it's born, he even take care of your tax forms, fat refunds. So come, get your business done. Consultations, financial organization, fast processing, no waiting. This man is amazing. The Prince.
Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131.
We're going to move to LRC, Cameroon. There are so many stories breaking out in Cameroon also. We know that Mr. Biya is out of favor with the French. He knows that because they are not really happy with him. So he's going to stay home. But a major story that is really breaking out in Cameroon is transgender, homosexuality. We've covered homosexuality in La République du Cameroon many times on this show, and we're thinking about presenting a list to the public of homosexual politicians in the government of Cameroon. Because of a lot of pressure from our viewers and handlers, we're stopped. We didn't release this list, but we still have the list. This week, news surfaced that two very popular transgenders were arrested and imprisoned for 5 years. Shakiro and Hapal were arrested and thrown in jail. Their lawyer, Felix Alixincom, was really complaining about the unfair trial. Where is justice? These are really popular bloggers, and they are popular on social media. So this throws light on a recurrent problem in La République du Cameroon. This is a government of hypocrisy. A lot of members in the government are homosexuals, but they pretend to make laws against homosexuality. So what about their own sexual preference? They are not talking about the fact that they are homosexuals themselves. They just hide in the closet. Then they punish anybody who tries to profess homosexual love outside, just like the two bloggers who were in prison this week. So this is really making the rounds, and it's making the government look bad. The government is already looking bad too, because already the war in Amazonia is not really going that well. And we have a whole lot of stories to share with you. If you look at some of the videos which we have for you this week, you guys send us all these videos and we watch them, and we want to share them with all our viewers so that they can see what is happening. For the last few weeks, it looks like the Amazonia Restoration Forces are really having an upper hand in this conflict.
Of no pity, let my people go. Go down, go down, go down to Yahweh and Pobia, Pobia, let my people go. This is the way of Fimasha, let my people go. This is the way of Fimasha, let my people go. Go down, go down, go down to Yahweh and Pobia, Pobia, let my people go. This is the way of no pity, let my people go. This is the way of no pity, let my people go. Go down, go down, go down to Yahweh and Pobia, Pobia, let my people go. I salute all fellow Amazonia, and I thank anyone who is here for here for gather together for us to share the idea and things the way it don't happen. So I salute my female shall not pity. I salute General Operi. I salute Colonel Abumu. I salute Commander Defi and all the rest members them where they there for here, and all the my other big people them too where they don't announce them up. So I salute all them. I want to tell the La République too to let their weapon and surrender for us. I want to send this word to them that until rain fall, before no person will get polished. Thank you very much.
For a very long time, we were telling you that war is not a good thing. If we want to solve problems, we need to come to the table and solve problems peacefully. But it looks like the government of President Paul Biya believes in military force. They believe that they can crush their opponents without hearing what they have to say. This is why we're having a lot of problems in Africa today. Because we have governments that believe a whole lot in the rule of force, not the rule of law. If we believe in the rule of law, then we will not be having a whole lot of violence and kidnapping in this part of the world. But we're having this problem because the guys who pretend to be politicians are not obeying the law. They take the law into their own hands, then they kill people summarily. So the people now want to wreak vengeance on their perpetrators and their killers. So that's what is really creating the conflict. In La République, you can see, for example, a lot of people in Amazonia were being killed. So they decided now to take up arms because they were tired of being killed. They did not just want to die like sheep taken to the slaughterhouse. So they decided now to react. Okay? If we must die, let us honorably die. Let us do something before we die. And this is what most of the restoration forces in Ambazonia are doing today. If you look at their action, they've come up with IEDs, improvised explosive devices. They are blowing up armored vehicles of the B elements, the B, those are Bataillon d'Intervention Rapide of the Bulu thugs. So what they are doing now is they are just using these IEDs to blow up most of the vehicles these thugs ride in. They come and attack innocent civilians. If you are sitting around, or if you are a male, you become a target. You don't have to be involved in the Ambazonian struggle. They just kill you summarily. Nobody can even open their mouth. So a lot of people die innocent deaths. So the people now are really having an upper hand in the conflict, and you can see it. They are blowing up a lot of the vehicles of B, and you see them crying. Yeah, so you can also see that this is really demoralizing a lot of the B militia. They are really tired of fighting, and they don't have motivation. The Amba guys are fighting for freedom, so they are really motivated. So they really want to wreak vengeance on most of these La République thugs. And they are really happy with it. I said it before on this show. I said, please, war is not good. If you keep killing these people, eventually they will figure out how to wreak vengeance on you. So now the guys talk about harvest. They seize the weapons from the B elements of La République. Then they use this same ammunition on the B elements. So how bad is this? So it's not good. So you see the guys celebrating every day. But what is really making these people angry? We have a video of our people. They tell you what is really making them angry, why they are really fighting La République. They've had it for so many years, and they're tired of the domination by La République and the slavery. So they want to end this slavery, and they want to live a better life. Sometimes people ask, why is it that there is terrorism in this part of the world? There is terrorism because the people are not happy with their lives. Let me take you on a journey. I want to show you the video that somebody sent it to us from Akum My 5. You can see the way people are lamenting the plight. The roads are so bad, and the guys can't even ply through on the bad roads. Take a minute and watch this video.
Good morning. This is My 5 Akum. Yes, this is about an hour ago that we have been standing here because of bad road. This is Bamenda, Cameroon, the 21st century. Look at the condition we citizens are living. God have mercy on us, because we don't know when we'll live here. Look at how vehicles have been parked on the way. Look at how people are suffering. Look at the condition of the road. Yeah. The road number 7. Look at how we are suffering. Please, God, come down from heaven and intervene, because we don't know whether we are going to sleep here or we'll make days here. Look at the condition. Your children are suffering. Not intervention. We just need your intervention in this nation, Cameroon. We need intervention. Look at the condition of the roads. Lord, have mercy on your children and intervene, because we don't know what to do. Let only your will be done in everything we do. In Jesus Christ's name, I pray. Amen. Thank you, Lord.
So when you live the way these people are living, you feel like you are not a human being. You feel so desperate. And you feel like maybe you should just leave the country and go somewhere. And this is how we also tell you the story of African migrants. Today, some of you sent us some pictures of African migrants in Italy. As you know, most Africans leave Africa looking for greener pastures. Europe is the dream world. When they get to Europe, they feel they have landed on El Dorado, only for them to realize that they start living in squalor. We have stories that some of you sent to us showing the way Africans who are adrift in Italy, they get to Italy, then they work in farms as migrants. So the conditions are so terrible for these Africans. They live in squalor. You see, like little places where they live, no water, no electricity, they live in the dark. So we have pictures that we can really show you of the living conditions of Africans who are trapped now in Italy. Why are these people leaving their countries and coming here? It's because they think things can be better in a different world. When they get to Europe, for example, in Italy, they don't have the right to work. So most of the farmers exploit them. They work on farms and they pay them very meager wages. They don't have enough resources just because they just want to make a living and send some money to their families at home. So the condition is so bad. You are in your own country, things are bad. You leave, you think you can go abroad, things are even worse. So when we look at this, we tell our people that it's better to cultivate your garden in Africa. Don't come to Europe and face all this misery. But when we look at these pictures, we really feel sorry for most of our people who are traveling. They're traveling to Europe because they dream of Europe as an El Dorado. Europe is not El Dorado. Things are really tough on Europe. Were it not for Africa, Europe would not even be alive because Europe depends on African resources. If you take the African resources away, Europe would drift into a third-rate country, okay? France, for example, would just become a country in the abyss of underdevelopment. But because of African resources, they are surviving and making a lot of noise, which is why, you see, for example, we have a story on Central African Republic again this week. The Russians are making a movie called The Tourist. You see a stadium, the Russian specialists are there indoctrinating the people. For example, you see how the people are happy to be with the Russians. They've put the French aside, and now France is really crying because they've lost the Central African Republic. Is it a good thing? We don't know yet. We don't want to call Russia a colonialist, but what they are doing in the Central African Republic has all the hallmarks of colonialism. They are there to exploit. Faustin Ange Touadéra has done that, has taken the Central African Republic out of the hands of the French, and now the Russians are in. But is it going to change the condition of life for the people? Because what we're really concerned about is the livelihood of these people. Is this going to change? It's not going to change until the people learn to fend for themselves. Because on this show, we always preach self-reliance. Self-reliance means you have to learn to fend for yourself. You have to learn to depend on yourself. Don't depend on other people. Because when you look at the history of the world, all the countries that have become emergent, they've become emergent by becoming self-reliant. They don't rely on any other country. Even the Marshall Plan never went to Asia. The Americans did it to help their cousins in Europe. But when you look at the Asian tigers, did they get a Marshall Plan to develop? No. They just decided that they wanted to improve their lives. They wanted to be self-sufficient, and they started doing things. Initially, they were not the best, but they continued working on their craft. Then they emerged to the world standard they are today. Before we end the show of today, we want to take you to a video somebody sent to us. It tells the story of Emmanuel, a young guy from Sierra Leone, a young inventor, a guy who is using his imagination to create. He uses solar energy to build a car from junk. Yeah, he goes to the junkyard and picks pieces of stuff. Then he pulls all this stuff together to build a car without an engine. He did everything using his imagination. This is what we call self-reliance. We need to start having Africans to start behaving like this young Emmanuel from Sierra Leone, who is using his imagination to build a car that runs. The car is powered by solar energy. So this is the quintessence of self-reliance. And we want you to watch this video of Emmanuel.
Hi, Nasdeli. I'm Emmanuel. I built the first solar car from trash.
Last month, I showed you the Elon Musk of Ghana, someone who built a car from scratch that drives like this. He built it from scrap metal and a diesel engine. But today, I want to show you the second Elon Musk of Africa in Sierra Leone, where this guy built a much cleaner car that doesn't even use a diesel engine. It uses the rays of the sun, and it's also made of trash. Who is this guy, and can this solar car go faster than the diesel one?
Thank you very much for watching the video of Emmanuel, because you can really see that to get ahead, we don't have to rely on France. The France African Summit is trash. It doesn't mean anything. It will not help Africans. So Africans need to be like Emmanuel, to invent for themselves. But before we end the show of today, so many of you were asking us that we are not really talking about the Oduduwa nation and their struggles for sovereignty. Yes, we have not talked about it yet on the show, but we've been following stories on this matter. In fact, we're following a lot of stories on this matter, and even our producers, most of them are Yorubas. So just know that the fact that we've not talked about it, it doesn't mean that we don't have people who care about you. We have a lot of Yoruba guys on our team. Even our video director is Yoruba. So just know this. So we know about the politics that is happening. But what we want to do, we don't want to rush to give you wrong information. We're studying the story, and we're going to come up with a whole lot of information for you on the Oduduwa Nation struggle. Already, we know who the actors are. We're following up. We have a lot of journalists who are working and researching stuff in the field for us. In the coming weeks, we're going to do a major presentation on the Oduduwa Nation and the struggle for sovereignty by the Yorubas. And of course, we know the role the Yorubas play in the Nigerian nation, because whichever way the Yorubas sway, that's the way Nigeria goes, because they are always a very good bloc. If it sways to the north, that's it. So we understand the politics of Nigeria. So don't worry. We're going to do a very good job to present to you a good program on what is happening with the Oduduwa Nation. So don't worry about it. We are keeping tabs on everything. So if you even have more information, share it with us, because we are working on the story. And we say thank you very much for watching the show of today. And we're telling you to share this show with your friends and family. This is the only way we can make Africa great again. We need to be self-reliant. So help us to be self-reliant. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Is your EMR EHR COVID-19 ready? If not, you do not know what you are missing. Why do you suffer in silence? Be smart. Turn to Alexia HTC today. Alexia HTC is the leader in virtual solution and communication technology in these times of pandemic crisis. When the unexpected happens, who are you going to call? Alexia HTC. Come and see how Alexia HTC Cloud Communications are enabling your fellow healthcare providers to consult with patients virtually and making big money. Alexia HTC also enables your employees to work remotely during the COVID-19 crisis. Are your employees safe? Do not jeopardize the health and safety of your patients and practice. What can Alexia HTC do for you? Alexia HTC is the new Colossus, the sister of physicians, who gives you back liberty, that is, the freedom to practice medicine your way. Vivacious virtual visits wherever you please. Amazing e-prescribing. Quick access to patient information. Easy access to medical records from other providers. Rapid drug allergy checks. Integrated lab tests and results. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled doctors yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your greedy corporations. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed physicians, to me. I give them the refuge. The happy home of Alexia HTC. Act now. Browse alexiahtc.com or call 240-350-1131.
Medical practice software is too old. Indeed, all the programs are built on MUMPS, technology of the 1950s, and the programs cost too much money. Epic and Cerner cost billions of dollars. Meditech costs thousands of dollars too. In fact, That's why we created AlexiaHTC.com, a new and free EMR/EHR for doctors. AlexiaHTC.com is built for HIPAA. Yes, magical one-screen technology, ease of use, quick charting, amazing e-prescribing, tight labs integration, multi-office difference, because we believe doctors and patients need a break today. Be the first to test drive AlexiaHTC.com. You have nothing to lose, you have everything to gain. Act now. Call 240-350-1131. Alexia Care Corporation at AlexiaHTC.com.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.